Most organisations have at least two brands. They have what might be called their optimal brand, the one that will deliver optimal outcomes, and most organisations also have at least one actual brand, what Jeff Bezos defined as what the target audience says about you when you're not in the room. Branding is the process of reducing the gap between the optimal brand and the actual brand. In 2019, there are three large and growing barriers to eliminating this gap for businesses that have traditionally relied on their brand to drive profitability. Firstly, there is the home brand, which is taking more and more market share from established brands in both the offline and the online environments. The business model of Coles and Amazon, for example, will increasingly depend on home brands. Secondly, there is the growing use of cognitive technologies and the Internet of Things, where algorithms and not consumer decision-making determines what is purchased. The business models of Google and Facebook is predicated on the growth of algorithm-driven purchasing. Thirdly, there is the growing demand by consumers for brands that share their values. Some 94% of consumers now say they would switch brands to support a good cause. Giants like Apple and Netflix have benefited greatly from effective brand alignment. As NYU professor Scott Galloway recently commented, branding as we know it is reaching the end of its natural life. Branding will increasingly shift from manufacturers like Hoover to retailers like Amazon. Branding will increasingly involve bots and other technologies that influence algorithms. Branding will increasingly involve getting much closer to the customer to facilitate values and needs alignment. Getting closer to customers will facilitate the development of products that better meet the expectations of the target audience. Products that meet consumer expectations will go a long way to addressing all three of the threats to branding discussed here. Getting closer to consumers can be facilitated by online communities. Indeed, 61% of US corporations now have or are building an online brand community. It can also be facilitated by the use of data fed into algorithms that accurately predict consumer expectations and the changes in those expectations. Develop communities and algorithms that enable products that address consumer needs and therefore support effective branding. For more information on this subject, visit www.djohncarlsonesq.com. That's www.djohncarlsonesq.com.